Devin Nunes is with us now, Republican from California. Has our national security just taken a hit, Congressman?
Well, look, there's a lot of good men or women that can take General Flynn's place. I've known General Flynn for over a decade. I'm sad to see him go. I really believe, as you just played in that interview, that he really is one of the greatest intelligence officers in a generation.
Now, there is turmoil within the administration. It's politics, of course, but there is turmoil. Do you think that that extends now and hurts President Trump's efforts to cut taxes and cut red tape?
Well, we'll see how this moves forward, right? I mean, I just believe that the opposition party is going to continue to attack whatever personality that they can attack in the White House. So I am concerned about that. But, you know, hopefully after this that we can get on to taxes and health care, because these are the two main components of the president's domestic agenda. And we're going to have everything that the White House has to help us pass this legislation, not only out of the House, but then to get it through the Senate.
On the subject of tax cuts, President Trump has said, look, a couple of weeks from now, you'll get the tax cut bill. You can have a look at it. Last night, Steve Mnuchin was confirmed was sworn in as Treasury Secretary. Does Steve Mnuchin help the tax cut move that's supposed to come in a couple of weeks?
Yeah, so the Ways and Means Committee actually has the powers vested in the Constitution, so that tax bill will start here in the House of Representatives. Clearly, having Steve Mnuchin as Treasury Secretary, having the President out talking about us fundamentally changing the tax code, that all helps. The question will be is once we get this bill out for public consumption, because we're trying to fundamentally change the code, Stuart, and when I say that, this is important for your viewers, is we're getting rid of the income tax. We're doing something that hasn't been done in 100 years. We're moving to a consumption system, to a cash flow system. What does that mean? That means very simply that you take your income minus your expenses, whatever's left over, you pay a tax on that. This is a very simple system, yet it's a dramatic departure from the confusing tax code that we have now.
That really is a dramatic departure because it's a complete shift. I mean, up until now, most tax revenue comes from the income tax, taxing income, what we earn. This proposal, you say, will make a shift, pivot away from taxing what we earn and go towards taxing what we buy? That's a huge shift, Congressman.
It absolutely is, but it is the most efficient and most transparent way to tax. So by doing this, we leapfrog all other nations. We would have the most transparent, business-friendly nation-state in the world. And I feel it's what we have to do. If we want to get out of this lethargic growth of 1%, 2%, and get back to where we have 3 or 4 or 5% growth, we're going to have to do something like this. If we want to bring jobs back to America, we're going to have a system like this.
But you are going to get enormous opposition to that kind of pivot.
Well, you know, anytime you do tax reform, there's enormous opposition. I mean, there's a reason why we haven't passed major tax reform since 1986.
Yeah.
Why? Because it's very difficult. And so, you know, the good thing is that we've actually, in the House of Representatives, we've been studying how do we actually reform the tax code, because I was actually here during the Bush tax cuts. They were very minimal. I think their impact was not felt for a very long time. And I just don't think they actually worked very well. Yeah. So that brought us to looking at, well, look, we've got to change our tax system fundamentally because so many countries around the globe have went to more of a consumption-style system. And we're going to have to do that. And I think you know, the most important winner here will be wage earners and will be small business, because they'll be able to put on the same playing field as other businesses in this country.
Congressman, I know you're busy, so you've got to run, but we appreciate you being here today. Congressman Devin Nunes.